Alright, let's talk about just using basic shapes to construct drawings. Basically if we have drawings and we see that they have a certain amount of complexity to them, and they appear to us to be pretty complicated. One of the things that we use to try to simplify things and understand the basic building blocks of drawings is thinking about them in terms of basic shapes. So I'm just drawing a figure here that isn't too complex, but it doesn't. There's sort of some overlap with the shapes. Some of the shapes have a lot of kind of specificity to them that you have to sort of deconstruct a little bit to understand what they're made of. And essentially the idea here is that something like this is made of essentially an oval shape for that head part there. And something like the neck is basically built of essentially something like a rectangle here. You could look at something like the shoulders here, almost like a triangular shape. It's kind of like a polygon almost. Okay, and so on and so on. Like these ears here are basically like smaller ovals on the sides of the head. The hair here again would be, you could possibly do some almost rectangles, or sort of like polygons here, like that. But basically we can analyze this drawing here that's a little bit more complex by breaking it down into these shapes. So what are these basic shapes? Well, essentially the main ones we want to play with are circles, ovals, squares, rectangles, triangles, and also we can say polygons in the sense that a shape that has a lot of sides that we might really change a lot. So we might have a shape that is say has 6 sides here, and each side doesn't have to be as long. They don't have to be sort of equidistant or whatever from the other ones. We can really kind of use those to our advantage. So what I want you to do with this assignment is essentially look at even like some cartoons that you might look at in the paper or something like that. And when you look at the cartoons, try to do this. Try to break those things down into those basic shapes and find them the best that you can. And then when you've done that, see if you can reconstruct the drawing starting with these basic shapes and actually create something similar to what the artist created. And again, if you use some of the principles in the last lesson of making your lines light, loose, and longer, particularly lighter as you make these basic shapes, you'll be able to slowly make your lines a little bit darker as you finalize the drawing. And those initial shapes that you lay in there will sort of hide underneath those darker lines.